and welcome to another video. So today we are checking out ForestCraft. Of course, this ForestCraft, Roach ForestCraft, with some of the new Natura engine cards. So, what do you do in this deck? Well, you play Roach, you return Roach, you play Roach. Basically, all you're doing for the majority of the game. The Natura and actually additives are mainly just for draw in this variation, of course. So Natura decks, or Naterra decks, sorry, typically focus on a lot of things, or a lot of different abilities, but this one in particular is purely draw based. Normally that's an extra, and it's the main focus. You want to be able to draw your roaches, you want to be able to draw your cards to return roaches, and the trees do a great job of that. Plus, nice bonuses, storing health, getting the play point back, so you basically get it for the one cost anyway. Really, that's the main thing. Having another body to put on board is also really good. That's where stuff like Desert Pathfinder comes in handy. Otherwise, that's really the only focus. You of course run the Angelic Smites to deal with wards or other problem cards, and a slash of 1 for the same kind of purpose. So we're going to get right into this and take a look. So, Forest versus Blood is going to be our first matchup here, and we're going up against a mono leader.
I hope you're ready to escort me.
Which is nice, the mono leader. Since we do have it, I don't feel too jealous, which is great. Not like the old Spinaria leader that I still want and don't have, but I'm not going to put in all the time and energy to get it because it's just not worth that to me. Plus I have Sylvia leader, so I'm kind of okay with that. So kicking us off here, we don't have much of a crazy good hand. The Hoverboard Mercenary is nice because it does draw us the guard, so we can mill our deck out a little bit. It's rough though coming up against Urias in your opener, especially when we can't deal with that 1-2 yet. If I could remove the 1-2, Predatory would actually take out Urias no problem, and I wouldn't have to worry. Luckily, we did get Whirlwind Roach reasonably early, so that's going to be a really nice advantage for us to have. Since it is, of course, the win condition for the entire deck. Night Prowl Vampiress, being played as a 1-drop amulet. Also, I love the animation for the Crystallize effects. They're really nice and enjoyable. So Whirlwind Roach, of course, I want to get that out. I can't do a lot with it, although if I had planned this out better, I could have took out the Urias with the 1-3 there instead. And that would have been a much better turn for me overall, and I wouldn't have had to worry. But we missed that, so we make the best of what we had. So Masked, great for them. Again, going to give them that value they needed. So this is 10 damage to our face, leaving us with just 5 health. That's not a good spot to be in. Fortunately for us, we can start to make this up again a little bit, even if we have to take some more damage to do so. So ideally, we want to take out as much of this board as we can. And I want to be able to keep my ward, just in case they can potentially one-hit me next turn. But we can do this pretty well. It's the next turn that's really a worry, because if potentially we can't win the game, we're in trouble. So there's the Nature's Guidance, which is actually a nice one to have. We're still not close enough to say win the game, but we can at least try and ward up a little bit and protect ourselves. And Whispering Woods actually does a good job of blocking this 5-6 from even being able to attack. Again, buying us that little bit of time we might need to win the game. Oh, and there's the Roach draw. Since Whispering Woods did give us a nice draw there. Cradle of Dark Divinity, not really a problem on its own. Without any kind of water or anything, we're actually pretty well set off. We've got 2 Roaches and a return. And our Roaches, I believe, are almost, or if not almost, at the point where we needed them to be. Not quite, so we do need to hope we can get lucky with at least another return or another Roach. And off the top, Nature's Guidance, sorry, Natura's. So used to saying that now that it just keeps going, but that's perfect. We're going to get the return, we're going to get another Roach out, and we're going to hit face for an easy lethal. So a little bit of luck, a little bit of skill. Not really much skill, but definitely luck involved. Getting 3 Roaches well and truly won us that game. Way more damage than we actually ended up needing. Next up, we are playing against Havencraft. Havencraft is a little awkward sometimes, especially if you end up against something that's throwing wards out all the time, although since the Havencrafts right now aren't really doing that, this shouldn't be too bad a matchup. So Ward of Unkilling, not really that interested in right now off the bat. Probably could have kept guard, honestly, but this was a really nice hand. Double Whirlwind Roach plus Airbound Barrage actually gives us some use here. And we got triple Roach, so we don't need to worry about having enough Roaches, because that's not a problem. Now we just need to worry about surviving until we can actually use them, while also being able to bounce them repeatedly. Fertile Aether, actually I probably should have played that, as that would have been a much better idea, but it's a free card to use with something like Arya's Whirlwind soon, so we may as well hold on to it. Now we have a target for Airbound Barrage, so we can actually Whirlwind Roach Airbound, which will be great. That was my biggest problem, not being able to get these Roaches bounced is a problem, for sure. So I decided to go for the Natura and Great Tree now instead. Not really sure why I decided to do that, I just did. I thought, hey, we'll go for it. We got the play points, let's just do it. And of course, Princess, not the card that you want to be dealing with. Luckily, Slash for 1 is an option, so with an Evo, we can easily go for that. Plus, we get the Roach bounce again, which is great, because we're going to need as many of those as we can get. The only problem now is that we need to do at least, I think, 2 to 3 more. I think it's 3, because we've only done 2 bounces so far, so 3 more bounces, but we can take advantage of Roach. It's a little slow, but it's getting the job done. We've already got a target for an Evo Roach. We can get rid of the 2-1. We do need to deal with the 4-4 as well, though. And the guard is a really nice card to have, so we really want to take advantage of that. So we can get double bounce here. Then we'll only be 1 bounce short from having a potential lethal option. It does mean we can't use Slash of 1, though. And I can't afford to throw Arya's Whirlwind because it would hit my Roach, so I can't do that either. At this point, it just means we have to risk taking some damage. It could have been potentially game over here, especially with this amulet. If they had their other 4 damage Storm card in their hand that was decreased enough, that could have been trouble. I was severely worried that was going to be the case. But it does mean now we need to go for lethal next turn. So our draw needs to be really good. And perfect. Nature's Guidance. Nature's Guidance coming to the rescue once again. Not that the odds aren't that high. It's actually fairly decent odds that we'd get a card that could return. So I wasn't too worried. I mean, at least half of the cards in our deck should have been able to do at least some form of return. Or get us some form of value, so it wasn't too big a risk, but it pays off either way. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. I actually had a reasonable amount of fun playing this forest deck. It was better than some of the other decks I've been playing at the same time, trying to get videos for, like Shadow, for example. Still not looking forward to doing that. Hopefully I can find a decent Shadow deck. It just seems the one I've got is awkward, but as far as this deck goes, I can definitely recommend it. It's also reasonably cheap as far as decks go, running just 2 legendaries in this variation. You could probably even run 3 of Queen if you want, and just drop something else down to 1 or 0 in some sense. But overall, definitely worth giving it a look. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe. You'll find a link to this deck in the description below. Until next time, guys, see ya.